If you explain any of your friends or family that why payday are a terrible idea, it's really not worth it because the person who is doing payday loans or is considering payday loans, most likely you already know they are not in the best financial situation, and that's fine. Once you recognize it, okay, but when you think about it, that an average person lives paycheck to paycheck, and whenever you find yourself having to borrow from a paycheck that has not arrived in a sense, it's like living paycheck to paycheck, but basically negative. So consider this. Payday loans are bad because, in a sense, that there's just a form of debt and loans or whatever. They don't have the best rates or whatever, but a fact is that the average person is not in the best kind of situation. So we're going to talk about in this video that how exactly to go about fixing this issue. At one point of our lives, we all have thought, why is it that I do the work today, but I have to wait like a whole week to get paid? It's just an inconvenience to have. The system is set up when it comes to paychecks, and that kind of sound pretty cool. You get to access your cash within minutes because it is your cash. There are no surprise fees anymore. There are no interest rates. You're borrowing your own money and having to pay interest on your own money, kind of crazy. It's easy because you don't even need a credit check. They don't need to check your credit. They know the money's coming in because you have a job and pay tabs to prove. So credit is not necessary whatsoever. If you come to think of it, the idea of tipping is so stupid. On average, people tend to think that when they tip, they're tipping adequately, but in reality, it's not like you're picking. You're tipping adequately more than often you're paying more than they actually deserve, because people tend to be a little generous. So you tip someone, let's say, on average, you tip these people $5 or $10. Now let's do some reverse math here. You're doing $10, you're taking out 500, you're multiplying that by 100. Right here, so you got the percentage. You're paying like 2% on that, and yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you shouldn't be paying any interest whatsoever when it comes to accessing your own cash. Again, it's not to say that getting these little things is a bad idea, because overall you might think, what if I don't tip anything? And the answer is, you don't know exactly how that would affect the relationship between you and the app company. Because if you're not tipping, then why would they give you access? However, maybe they just have it like intertwined with the whole system. If you can take out your money in advance, you can have that money available to you and you pay no fees and absolutely no interest. Absolutely. And no, typically, then it is basically just free money until you get the paycheck. It's not because you're basically in a financial pinch. Every time that's a different conversation. But on average, the people that are getting these payday loans are the people that are going through financial struggle. So remember this, payday loans promote bad habits, and it's not good when it comes from that, where the reason to why you want that more than average is just terrible. So first of all, this is going to be very basic, it's not complicated. You just need to understand that if you want to change and you want to be different in a sense, you got to do different things than what you're currently doing. First, establish a budget, and it does not mean you don't get to do anything. It means you establish what you want to be able to do that sets your goals accordingly. So that's the idea. Your budget is your budget, but be realistic. Because if your budget is unrealistic, you can expect any results, so you have to be realistic. There's this budget called baseline budget. So baseline budget has 4 categories of spending. If you have shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation, that's it. Everything else inside of that is basically just a 1. So anything that you don't need is a 1. You need to cut out all the wants. That's how you actually get to financial freedom a lot faster. Next, calculate exactly how much money you have left over. That's called your discretionary income, and you put those into 3 categories: emergencies, entertainment, and investment or debt. The idea is you have to make a priority. If you're in debts, sell all the things you don't need, and with all your extra money, you put it towards debt. While you're doing this, take 5% and use that money just for fun. This way you have some balance and you have separation between your money. So let's look into the clear picture. Whatever you want to do, doesn't matter what, you grab some paper and you write down, what are all my bills, and put them down into 4 main categories: shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Then evaluate, how much money am I spending on these things? Can I actually save money here by either moving, by either eating out less? Saving money is always hard, especially with having a certain kind of lifestyle. But just think about it. How long do you think you can maintain that lifestyle with debt sword hovering over your head? One way or the other, you have to pay that money off. and then the real battle starts. So it's better to hold your horses way before when it comes to that. Would be a wise thing to do, right? You kind of figure out exactly how can you lower these big four. If you have a car that's financed car, you can sell this car. Cut your losses by a beater car. Basically, you cut those things out you don't need. Then whatever money is left over, grab 5% of that extra money and try to save that for emergencies. Or, once you have that savings, grab it and dump it into paying off debt as fast as possible. This way, if you run into a pinch, you don't need to borrow money from a paycheck. This will prevent from so much stress and hustle later on. You are going to want to use that money because it's convenient, right? But always think about what comes with it: stress, financial mismanagement, debts, and unnecessary interest rates. Once you have no debt, then that gives you a lot less friction, because obviously when you get paid, all the money is yours. Because you are not paying this money out to this credit card and that credit card, and this student loan and this thing. Once you're done, then, you lock into building a full 3 to 6 months emergency account. That takes a while, but it's worth it. And here's why: because once you have that 6 months, it's not like you lose your job where your payday loan's at. It actually gives you 6 months to get another job and figure things out. That's the idea. Once you're done with that, you focus on investing. But investing is usually like the last thing people always think about. I'm too broke to invest money. No, you're broke, you need to clean your stuff up and build a foundation. And you worry about basically investing. Because if you try to invest while you're paying, it would cause hectic financial situation and makes absolutely no sense. And it usually just ends into you investing money and then having to take the money out because you need the money for something else, and that's not what you want. So you don't need to convince someone that already knows that payday loans are not a good idea, because what it leads to a lot of bad financial habits. Since we're kids, we get money, we're like, what do we spend this on? Okay, I want to buy candy or want to buy that video game. It's just normal. It doesn't mean you're stupid or you're dumb. It means you're ignorant. And ignorant just means you have a lack of understanding of something, and that's just normal. So your job is to go practice different things out. Go learn it a little by little, and just try those things out. This might sound some way extreme, but it's the truth. And sometimes the truth sucks. Anyone can tell you to have fun, or just don't think about tomorrow, or don't worry about paying debt, but that's not gonna help. It might make you feel good, but it's not gonna help, and it will bring much more difficulties for you later on. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.